Yes, lads, how you doing? Hope you guys doing fantastic. The summer transfer window is finally shut, okay? So you can stop refreshing Fabrizio Romano's tweets, okay? You can now unfollow him now. It is now over. And no, Man United fans, you've still not got De Jong. In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single Premier League team's window, looking at how I think their window has gone. Have they brought in the right players? Have they kept the right players? Have they sold too many? Etc, etc. So tell me down below in the comments, how do you think your window went? Do you still think it could get much better? If you guys are new here, then please go and smash that subscribe button as we are so close to 300,000 subscribers. Yo, do you play FIFA 22? Yeah. Is your team bang average? You absolute pathetic piece of... You're saying that to the viewers? No, obviously. Ah, okay. I mean you. Do you face teams like this? You can't keep getting away with it! Do you know there's a way to get coins? Why are you shouting at me? Then go to userbuy.com for the cheapest and most reliable place to buy your coins on FIFA 22. Link is down below in the description. And also use code Vizeh at checkout to get a discount. So of course on the left you have got all of the different rankings and A+. So top of the top, A, B, C, D, and F. You guys know how it works. You're over the age of 10. And if you are below the age of 10, then... Fortnite is awesome. Now subscribe. Let's start off with the first side that did any business in this window, and that is Aston Villa. Starting off early, there's some big signings of Kamara and Diego Carlos. Also got in Coutinho on a full permanent transfer, and didn't really do all too much. Did a few little bits of pieces here or there, but it ended off quite strong with Ben Noek on loan and Dendoncker from Wolves. Together spending €70 million, which is not a bad amount of money. In terms of outgoings, nothing too insane. They finally offloaded El Ghazi, Chukwuemeka. Kamara on a free transfer is a fantastic piece of business, and I think they've added some decent depth to their squad, and I think Steven Gerrard has been given enough players that he can work with to get a decent season. Aston Villa, I think, is a solid B. I don't think they've lost really any players. They've kept their main core of the players that's made them tick, and they brought in some quality as well and some depth. So all around, I don't think there's too much that can really go wrong. The only thing that I think they could be missing is potentially like a sure thing of a goal threat. As of right now, Ings and Watkins ain't really delivering, so maybe to add a bit more spice to that and add a bit more competition could have been useful. Next up is Brighton, and this summer has been more about outgoings and really incomings here, and that is the main conversation with Brighton. But you can't say that they've really done poor in terms of getting the value out of some of their main players, like the likes of Cucurella and Bissouma. Together going for about 80 million combined, which is great business for them. Brighton has a very good talent ID system, and the players that they bring in typically within a year or so will probably get moved on for a good amount of money. Also selling the likes of Morpie and Ostergaard and loaning out a few as well. Billy Gilmore on a permanent is interesting. Estupinan from Villarreal is also going to be very interesting to see how can he replace Cucurella in that left back role. And Cisco from Paraguay, that is 18 years of age and could become good in future. Also Adingra as well. They made a lot of money. They've brought in a few young players that may not be ready as of right now, but could be in the next couple of months or year. But they've not really made a statement. I don't think they've really improved as a club. Potter will have to do what Potter does and just make the absolute most out of what he has. So the Brighton, I'll say it's a C. They've sold two of their big players for big money, to be fair. I think Brighton fans would have wished there was a proper number 9 that came through the door. And I think that is one real big spot which is missing right there for them personally. On to Fulham now. And Fulham spending a solid amount, €61 million, and bringing in about 20 million in, mainly from the sellings of Carvalho and Zambo and Grisa to Napoli. Signing players all over the pitch. Paulinho, a fantastic CDM. I feel like Diop can also do a job as a centre-back. Pereira from Man United on a full permanent transfer as well. And Babu and Kurzawa, both experienced fullbacks. A centre forward and Vinicius to hopefully try to add some sort of cover for Mitrovic, I think. And then also Willian. I don't know where Willian came from, but Willian is now also there. And also a very good goalkeeper in Bernd Leno. I would say Fulham has actually done really well, considering the amount of money they spent compared to the players they brought in. I think they were really smart. I'll give them an A. I think they've done really well for this window. I think they learned from the mistakes in previous summers, and that they brought in a lot of maybe kind of younger, fresh players, but a lot of loans, gotten some great experience, and I think this has been a fantastic window for them. So for me, it's a comfortable A. Let's do one of the worst ones now, and I don't think there's any competition of pop. I mean, maybe there's one other team, but I think comfortably the worst window. It's not looking good. I'll be honest here. And it is clear as day, Leicester City is an F. I think they are the worst exiting this window. They've lost some very key players in their dressing room. Schmeichel, I think, is bigger than what people really realise. Leaving for a large amount of money, 80 million euro, but wasn't really replaced. Got Wout Faes from Stade Reims, which I feel like isn't really going to be like that much of a difference. Brought in a goalkeeper and Alex Smithies, and that is literally it. It is not looking good. Let some players go, like Lutman on loan, so, you know, and Schudery as well, so a bit like depth missing there, and they've not really replaced them, so it's just very, very bad right now, I think, for Leicester. They are much weaker than where they were at the start of the window. Let's go for Tottenham, okay? Tottenham with a lot of incomings, of course, with Conte there. He knows exactly what kind of person that he wants. Spending 169 million euro in this window. Outgoings is 38 million euro, mainly for the selling of Bergwijn to Ajax and Kosovikas to Celtic. Letting Ndombele away on loan, Reguilon away on loan. They brought in some good experience in there and some young, fresh, hungry talent as well. Like the likes of a Bissouma from Brighton, I think is really good for them. Romero on a permanent is massive, and also some great experience in the likes of Perisic. Gives a very good mix. Spurs has definitely improved their team, and they got some players that already knows very well that Conte system. So for Spurs, I would say is a... I would like to say is an A, because again, they've also kept pretty much all their main players. First time for Wolves. For Wolves, some very good signings. Nunes, a talent which I think a lot of teams in Europe would want. 23 years of age, only 45 million euro. Guedes as well, top talent. Nathan Collins from Burnley, again, top young talent. Kaladzic from Stuttgart, also a lot of teams were interested in as well. I think they've done really well. They've done really well. Outgoings, they've kept their main players, Ruben Neves being the main one, offloading some players that they may not really want anymore, like the likes of Cordy and Saiss and Willy Bolly. I think that they've done quite well this window, spending 136 million euro altogether. I'll say for Wolves, it is a B. I think they've got some players in positions that improves the squad. Maybe some depth, maybe a concern later on down the line, but they got some good value in the market in likes of Nunes for very top talent that will be a very big part of the team, and they've kept their main players as well. I just kind of feel like with Wolves, there's something missing, and only time can tell. Everton up next, and I've got some opinions on Everton. So they brought in Onana from Lille for 35 million euro, good. Dramini from Burnley for 24 million euro. Morpai, Garner from United, quite impressive that. Garner Gay from PSG coming back. James Tarkowski on a loan, kind of Cody. So it's not bad all around. Going out, of course, is the main one in Richarlison. Some players that off the books like Dele Alli, getting Tosin at last, Gabarmin. Do I think that they've replaced Richarlison? No. Do I think they've improved their midfield? In Onana and Garner, I would say, yeah, I would say that it's improved. But I really am not convinced about their attacking options. I'm not all too convinced on them. And do I think that their squad is stronger than what it was when they first started? They did end up keeping Gordon, which is big, you know, because, I mean, if he went, then I don't know how they're going to score goals. So at least he stayed. I would say it's a C. I was going to give it a D, but because they kept Gordon, I think that is thankfully for them that they've kept him, because I feel like without him and he went, I really would be confused on how they'll score goals. So Everton, I'll say it's a C. Up next, Crystal Palace brought in Decore from RC Lyon, Chris Richards of Bayern Munich as a centre-back. Not spending too much, 34 million euro. By far, I think one of the least that was spent in the entire league. Benteke has finally gone to DC United. Let go of some players like Kayute. I kind of felt like they needed more. I felt like they needed more up top to really challenge. I don't think they've really improved their attacking options. Defensively, they've got a good defence, but I think depth-wise is still a concern. The Decore, yes, of that one player, but I feel like, you know, considering how many players other teams have brought in to improve their team, I think Palace has kind of stayed still. I don't want to be harsh on them. I just kind of thought that there'll be more. I say it's a D. Maybe I'm being harsh, but if I'm going to put 1 in D, it's kind of a window for Palace. One big signing, you know, in Decore. Richards could be good, still young American centre-back, but I feel like there could still be more. Now it's time for one of the big boys, Liverpool. Liverpool, how would I rank their window? And I would say that there's been a few question marks. I feel like Nunez, very exciting talent as a replacement for the departure of Sadio Mane. And I think that makes sense. Spent a lot of money on him, but I feel like it would be worth it down the line as he is still quite young. Carvalho was also a very shrewd piece of business for only 5 mil. Great bargain. They got a centre mid in Arthur Melo, from Juventus on last day to add some sort of depth, but I feel like that's not really the guy that people really wanted. I feel like when you're Liverpool and you're trying to win the Premier League and you're up against Man City of all teams who has got such an immense squad, I kind of feel like you've got to do more to improve your squad. Has Liverpool improved? I don't think they have. And for a squad like Liverpool, for the aspirations that they want, I feel like that is somewhat criminal. I would give it a D. I feel like you've got to make big improvements each window to keep up to the league. Otherwise, you get caught up. And I don't think that they've particularly improved their team. And let's do Chelsea as well. Chelsea, the highest spenders, I think, in the entire world. 281 million euro spent. And they only sold 54 million worth of players. Of course, there's some players on some free transfers as well, which they could have got a lot of money, like Rudiger. Fofana, okay. Koulibaly, big centre-back options there. Cucurella to be a competition for Chilwell. Sterling and Aubameyang as attacking threats. And Zakaria as well on a loan to add some depth in midfield. They kept Broja. Broja is still there as an option, so he's not going out on loan, which is quite interesting. There's a lot of depth there. There seriously is a lot of depth there. And my main concern is, could it be too much money? I feel like they've spent a lot of money here, on players that maybe they particularly could have overspent on some. It's definitely a statement. Do I think that they've improved their team? Yes, they clearly have. Rudiger's a big miss, but they have brought in Koulibaly in experience to replace him, which I think is worthwhile. Christensen gone out, Fofana brought in, improvement. Werner out, Sterling in, improvement. Improvement all around. Do I think that they've smashed the window? I guess you gotta say that they have. I gotta say they have. I mean, if I don't put them in A+, I don't know who else I would. Brentford up next, and I really like what they're doing. They're making smart signings on the market, not spending all too much money, and trusting their talent ID as well to do the business. Brentford spending 50 million euro, only selling 3.6 million euro in just Foss going to Middlesbrough. So all around, not too bad. Of course, Eriksen going could be a big miss. They replaced him with really no one. They've trusted who they already have in midfield. Attacking options, Lewis Potter and Damsgaard. Defensively, Hickey and Ben Mee. I say it's a good B. I think it's a B. Improve their team. No real wow big signings other than maybe Damsgaard. Altogether, I'll say that they've improved their team, and that's for a decent price. And I say there's not really much more that you can really expect from Brentford than that. Now it's time for Bournemouth. F. Yeah, you knew this was coming. I don't know what they're really doing. 26 million euro spent, and that's really on two signings. Senesi from Feyenoord, which is a solid enough centre back. Tavernier from Middlesbrough as well, a good player from Middlesbrough as well. But I feel like you just need so much more. You need so much more in this league. It feels bad to say, but like, I feel like they are just kind of expecting to go down. If they stay up, then they'd be a miracle. That's to say the least. Arsenal up next, and not too many signings for them, but the signings that they have made will be very important. Gabriel Jesus, Savchenko, two fantastic pieces of business. Fabio Vieira as well, 35 million euro as well. Going to see what he can still offer because we haven't seen him yet. Guendouzi, finally gone on a permanent. Leno, Torreira, Bellerin, Lacazette, Pepe on a loan. So they've cleared out as well some of their fodder that they don't really use. The kind of bit part players, Nuno Tavares, Maitland-Niles. So they've cleared their wages a little bit, and they've brought in at least two very good pieces of business. I still feel they're missing some depth though, especially when it comes to wide areas to offer some support for the likes of Saka or Martinelli. I feel like they're still missing that, and they really needed to really get a standing there. Also, in midfield, I still feel like in the midfield options, they still have a clear lack there. of depth. They needed a centre mid. They've not got a centre mid. They needed a wide player. They've not got a wide player. But the two signings in Jesus and Shevchenko, massive, massive improvement to their team. I want to say that it's a B because, yes, they've made two very good signings, but I feel like it could have been better. They could have got some more depth. Leeds up next, and lots of players, the RB, Red Bull, influence, the American influence, Aronson, 32 million euro. Since the era for Feyenoord, 25 million euro. Tyler Adams, Christensen, Rocker, some decent loans as well. All these on permanence, of course, Rafinha, out the door, and Calvin Phillips, so you got to replace them somehow. All the players are brought in, great young players, hungry, some ready for the here and now, 22, 23. They quite clearly have a plan of the type of player that they want that fits their system, and considering how they have started the season, I think that it's working right now for not all too much money, considering, and what I think they can offer for future for Leeds. I say it's an A. Christensen, 30 million euro. Rocker, 12 million euro. Adams, 17 million euro. Since the era, 25, and these are all 24, 23, 25 that be ready for the future. And Aronson as well, great talent as well. So I think they've smashed it, Leeds. The only thing they're missing is a striker. And if they got one that's ready for the here and now, I would have said that would be an A+. Newcastle United, a lot of people were looking forward to this window for Newcastle, thinking, okay, here's the entire summer. Let's see what big deals they're going to do. And they made, I want to say, two, statements. But I like the smart little ones that you don't even really notice, like a Nick Pope. People don't really care because he's a goalkeeper, but Nick Pope is fantastic. And you can already see the impact he's making. As a Burnley fan, trust me, I already know. Botman, 22 years of age. A lot of Europe are interested in him. And he went to Newcastle, 37 million euro. Not really overspending. And then there's Zizek, the centre forward, which they needed because Wilson would not be ready for the entire year. And for 70 million euro as well, maybe overspending a little bit, but only time can tell if that's worth it. I don't think it was perfect though. I still think they could have brought in another top quality centre mid, could have brought in another top quality winger. The expectations was quite high and they're still being quite sensible. So I'll give it a B for Newcastle. I think a B is fine. I still think another wide player would be great, maybe centre mid, but altogether, it's good. Now it's time for Manchester United, spending 238 million euro in this window and letting go of quite a lot of players. Some players which, kind of spent too much time there, like the likes of Jesse Lingard, Eric Bailly, etc. A lot of players have gone, and they brought in a quite good amount of players as well. Anthony for 95 million euro, Casemiro, Martinez, Malacia, Eriksson, and Dubravka are the main chunk of them. And does it improve their team? I personally think that it does. Erik ten Hag has been most definitely backed. Great experience in Casemiro and Eriksson, and some young attacking players in Malacia, Anthony, and I guess maybe even Martinez as well. I say they have definitely improved their team, and they got a six. They finally got a good six in Casemiro. They've got a wide player, a winger in Anthony. They haven't got a number 9 though, one position which I think that would have definitely pushed them up. But genuinely, if you're a Man United fan, can you really complain? You got a centre-back, you got a DM, you got a winger, you've got some depth as well in Eriksson, who can also play anywhere across the midfield, and you got a left-back to replace Shaw. He's been backed, you've spent money, you've let go of a lot of, again, a lot of fodder. There's players that has just been taking up wages for way too long. It's been a decent clear-out for them. I would say, honestly, it's an A. At one stage, you didn't bring in De Jong, but you got in Casemiro, who's pretty much, a very similar quality of player. Not the same type of player. Casemiro's definitely much more of a pure DM. But that's what you need. That's a position that you've needed for how long? There's an element of overspending. Anthony isn't worth 95 million euro. You've brought in the players. You've backed the manager. And really, that's all that you can really expect. So for me, it's an A. That's to Man City. Really, they brought in Haaland. And just that alone is an A+. They got Haaland. End of story. They've got some depth as well. Phillips to add some more depth and quality in midfield. Akanji, some more depth for centre-back role. A left-back as well, and Sergio Gomez to replace Shevchenko. Genuinely, there's not much more you can really expect. Man City's team is so good that genuinely I don't think they need much else. And they've got Haaland for €60 million, which is nuts. Just that alone is an A+. Genuinely. Next up is Southampton, i.e. Man City's B team. I think Burnley are also taking that note as well. Bazinu, 14 mil. Sekou Mara, 13 mil. Lavia, 12.3. Shalata Shah for 10. Kotchap for 10, Aribo for 7, and then some other players like Edozie and Larios as well, who are young players, 18, 19, 18, 19, 20, 20, and then 25 in Aribo and Shota Shah, some players that's ready for the here and now in midfield and at the back. For me, Southampton, if we're speaking about a rebuild, if we're speaking about preparing a team for the future, it's an A+. Genuinely is an A+. Like, some players could be good enough for now to keep them up. It's very impressive, their business. And, I mean, like, genuinely, if we're speaking about, where these players could be in the next 2-3 years, this could be the new era of Southampton. And when we speak about the money that they've spent, I mean, for all these players, €66 million. Maitland-Niles as well, also on loan, who can also offer up some great quality midfield. I really like their business. Now it's time for Nottingham Forest. I genuinely don't even know where to begin with this. €161 million spent. Outgoings was just 7 mil, and that was pretty much all for Da Costa and Bryce Samba. I mean, there's how many players they brought in? I think it was like 21 or something. I genuinely don't even know this stage. It's crazy. Now, I must say I back it. I back the fact that they've gone for it. They've gone for it. They've gone for a large variety of players from a variety of ages. The main chunk of them are all on permanent deals as well. So there's only 2 loans in Henderson and Bade. So these are players that are here for the here and now. And also Lodi as well. I forgot about Lodi. They've got an entire team. They've gone for it. I don't know how they're going to get all these guys to work together. They'll have to find a way. I rate Cooper as a manager. And, I mean, as a newly promoted side goes, I mean, you can't really dream of a more mental window. Genuinely, like, if this doesn't work, then something drastically has gone wrong. I mean, I guess it has to be an A+. Has to be. Have they overspent? Not too much. Like, you may say Gibbs White is overspent, but in the grand scheme of things, most of these players are 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil, maybe a few 9s, a few 10s. But, like, in the grand scheme of things, they've gone for players who may be a little bit, overlooked in the market. Some smart loans and the likes of Lodi. Jesse Lingard on a free transfer is also very smart as well on a 1-year deal. And I think that this is very, very well thought out. Maybe it could be too well thought out. Maybe there could be too many players to compete for spots now. But that's the job of the manager to try and balance that. He's been back. Last one is West Ham, who spent actually a lot of money. A lot more money than I thought they would have. €182 million. Lucas Paqueta, Scamacca, Aguild from Stade Rennais for €35 million. Cornet from Burnley. Cheers, lads. Emerson, Carrere, Areola, and also Flynn Downs as well. Going out, it's a Diop, and then a few frees in Yarmolenko, Fredericks, Masaraku, of course, Vlasic also going as well on a loan. So they spent a lot of money on not too many players, but they have got a good variety of number 10 in Paqueta, that kind of star signing, which is very impressive for them to go and get. Scamacca is a young centre forward, and only time can tell how good he can be. Maxwell Cornet for some great depth as well. I don't know where to put them, because I feel like their team has got better. It is stronger, but I think a B is fine for West Ham all around. And kind of when I think about it, like, Arsenal should be a C. They should be a C because I think they should have done more. But the 2 signings of Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus is so impressive and so impactful that I got to keep it in a B. But there you go, boys. That is my rankings of each team. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh with some teams. If I look at this and get some more changes, maybe could have been a Brentford, could maybe be in a C, maybe a bit, underwhelming in terms of their official team. Maybe if I got to put one team in a C, I guess it would be a Brentford. I don't think it's particularly bad. I think they've strengthened, but maybe could have got some more sure talents, some more, proven talents as well. This is my thoughts. Tell me yours down below in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure I am. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe.